Brad Holmes is pretty much making the rounds again. With the Damone Clark signing, I believe he was the linebacker, and the DJ Wonnum signing. Seen an article about, I believe it was DJ Wonnum. He had injuries. They both had injuries. Damone Clark, the linebacker, I think they got from Houston, he had a spinal fusion surgery to fix a herniated disc in his back. I remember Levi Enrique had a real back injury. He had some type of spinal fusion surgery. And then DJ Wonnum had a torn quad that involved 3 surgeries. And now people are just basically saying that Brad hasn't really shook drafting these injury-prone players, bro. He hasn't shook it. He hasn't shook it. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Literally, I'm just not surprised. Time and time again, we're continuing to have these conversations about him and injury-prone players, dog. DJ Reader, he had I think he tore his quad twice before he came to the Detroit Lions. And it's just like, you get these guys for cheap, but it's not even about cheap, because Enrique and Josh Pascal was drafted in the first 2 rounds, or the second round, back-to-back years. Enrique was his first second-round pick, and Josh Pascal was his second-round pick in the consecutive following year. And they both had a bunch of injuries coming in, or a major injury for Enrique, and Pascal had a bunch of injuries. And you take them, it doesn't work out. It hasn't worked out to the day Pascal is gone. And it's just like, bro, you keep drafting these injury-prone guys. You keep drafting them, and we already have a high injury rate. So, like, what is his addiction to this, bruh? At one point you had 20 plus injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Don't you think at some point we need to put a premium? We need to put a premium on healthy players. That's what I'm thinking. We need to put a premium on healthy players. Real talk, we need to put a premium on healthy players. I'm like, I don't know what she was on. And it's just disheartening that he has an addiction to injury play. And I get it. I read the article. I did the video about a year or two ago about, and I think he was in the Detroit News or Free Press, and he was explaining why he drafts and sympathizes with injury-prone players because of his career. What happened with his career? I get it. I definitely get it. But at some point, we have to do what's best for the Detroit Lions football team, for the Detroit Lions brand. We have to do what's best. We have to do what's best. And you have to be more durable. And then he wants to draft these injury guys, right? He wants to draft these injury guys. Which is cool, okay. But Brad Holmes don't want to curb the practice. He don't want to tone down the practice. So at some point, it's going to be a reoccurring thing. It's going to be reoccurring over and over and over again. We're going to get the same results. We're going to get the same results. The same results. Injured, 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 injured. So, you wish this wasn't the case. You wish this wasn't the case. But unfortunately, it is the case. So, I mean, this alone just means we won't win. Because they can't, they draft a bunch of guys that's been broken up too, or who ain't stay healthy. Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, they both got injured last year and was gone for extended periods of time. F.A. Melifano was a dope football player, couldn't stay healthy. Manu Giovanni, he moved up in draft, can't stay healthy. Sonoy Vaki, who he moved up in draft, can't stay healthy. So this is going to be a reoccurring theme, a reoccurring problem for them. This is going to be a reoccurring problem for them. So, not mad about it. It's just, it is what it is. When you've been a Detroit Lion fan for the long as you've been a Detroit Lion fan, what can you say? What can you say? It's always something. So when I seen that Yahoo article, and I kind of remember to put it on the screen, and I went to go look back at Damone Clark. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, you just dealt with like some type of back injury with Enrique. You gonna go get, even if this guy's for depth, we know our depth is always tested. Like, this dude got an addiction. He has an addiction to injury-prone players. This has got to be studied somewhere. Every year they've been here, they've dealt with a bunch of injuries. Every year they've been here, and they haven't made the adjustment. Injuries is the reason they haven't won the Super Bowl. Right? Injuries is the reason they haven't. They refuse to make the pivot. But hey, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon. Or join me on Facebook, Instagram, the whole 9 piece.